This video will be a deep dive into SharePoint site permissions, understanding how to manage site permissions, creating security groups, managing user permissions, and understanding roles and different permission groups, how we can customize the permissions, and also how we can create unique permissions for document libraries, folders, and files, and even list items. So let's start here. We are on the SharePoint Admin Center and we are taking one of the site here. We can also review the site permissions Admin Center, but we will come here later on. I'm going to one of the site here. And one thing is that you need to keep an eye on the unique permissions, how I'm going navigating into different permission options. There's an easiest way is to click on the site permission here, click on this gear icon and go to site permissions. And you will see the security groups here. There are three security levels are listed here. Site owners who have the full permissions, and then site members, limited control than site owners, and visitors. They can only have view level access on the sites. Members are those who can modify content and can also create listen libraries. But site owners can create listen libraries and also can manage permissions. User can also add user permission, some of the permission settings from here. But the easiest way is to click on the advanced permission settings. So here you will see these three security groups. You can and you can also navigate to this page by going to the site settings and click on user and groups. If I show you here, then there are two other roles listed here, like site collection administrator. This is a user who can manage the site settings, couple of site collection level features, and he have permissions on all the content. Even there are files which are not visible to other users. The site collection administrators. This user is assigned when we create a new site. So when we create a new site, there's only option to add one site collection administrator. But by going here, you can assign multiple site administrators who are their role is only site administrator. You can see here my name here showing up here. Now I will go to this, understand these all three groups here. You can see these are three different groups. These names could be changed and each have full control, edit and read. If I go to the settings for one of the group here, and one more thing, you can see here, it's showing a couple of options here like grant permission, create group. It means we can also create a similar group with similar role and in this group we can assign permissions. Now if I click on select any of these, it going me to edit the user permission. Don't get confused with the name user here. It means that we can add modify the existing group or user here permissions, and we can also remove any of the group here. For example, I do not need to have users with read permission on this site. This could be a secure site. I can remove this. Now, if I click on this one and go to the edit permissions, let's see what we have. It giving me five set of permissions, full control, design, and we are no longer using these permissions. In previously, when we have options to have custom sites with where we can also make changes in the master pages. So those roles are required. Edit. You can see here it's showing that can add, edit, and delete lists. Can view, add, update, and delete list items and documents. Contribute. Yes, I have the by default the second role is edit, and the contribute is the one who can add, edit, and delete list items and documents. And the fourth one is read with unique permissions. I'm canceling this one. Now I will show you some permissions level here and then we can discuss further. So what are permission levels? These are the unique permission level which is showing up here. And if I click on any of the permission level here, and we can also create our own customized permission level here. For example, I'm going to click on full control. You will understand that what type of permissions are listed to this one. These are all uh, just a second. These are all different permission roles assigned to this user. Now I will go back. You can also, if you have a SharePoint site, you can also view these things. And for example, I have a contribute role here, and you can see it has different permissions in all these items: add item, edit item, delete, view. In previous one, you have noticed that when I open the full control, it all these options were disabled, but already check marked. And these are different roles which are assigned to the mm, permission level. I can also create a custom permission level. I will assign you. Now I will let you know by clicking here. Or I want to. I will allow. Now let's keep a scenario. I want to have a permission role where user can have contribute permissions, but user cannot delete any file. So here you can see it have a delete items permission. I want to keep all other permissions except delete. I will go here at the end. You can see this option button here, copy permission level. I will click on copy permission level and I can create a new permission level, contribute, no, delete. And I will just uncheck this option here and I'm just keeping all other options as is. Now you can see in the sixth security group with unique permission, it do not have any content written here because we haven't added any value here, and these are all the default ones. So I click on this one, and I can modify the description here. Similar to contribute role step deletion of files and list items. And this is similarly, we can also disable delete versions also. I missed it earlier. So you can customize the permissions easily. Now we go back to these set permissions here. I will click on permissions. Now we are back to our security group role. So you understand that what are these roles? I can create a new group here. Understand that a new role here. Custom group. Custom user. I'm just showing a random name here. No, delete. Just adding a random group here. You can also have a group owner here who can modify the permissions here, who can view the permissions. I'm just going with the default options here. Also for the who can edit the group membership, group owner only, and user can allow requests to leave the group. No, and these are the permission roles which I want to assign. I'm selecting the last option. I can also select multiple options. It by default edit one user. Why? So that the group start listing on this page. These are different pages here. I'm just going back to. So it's also a possibility that you get lost on the permissions site permissions. Where are these groups? You can see there are a couple of other permissions showing up here, and these are different roles. Could be hidden groups also, which are not showing to everyone. And I will explain about these two special groups later on. I will go back to the, now you can see that I cannot see the site permissions page here. So I'm going to navigating to the permissions page from a different angle, or I can also write here users, and it will also take me to the, sorry, user, and it will also take me to that same page. Or you can go to these site settings, people and user, and site settings, site permissions. So you can, we have our group listed down here. Now this is how we are going to manage the permissions. Earlier, I have shown you the, we have seen on the screen that there are two special groups, everyone and everyone except unique permissions. Let me add those groups here. In Microsoft 365 and SharePoint Online, there are two unique groups, everyone and okay, everyone is not showing up here. But these are the two special groups which are by default available. Everyone means all the users on this organization, including guest users. The users who are guests in your organization can also get read access here because I'm adding them on the benefits, visitor benefits, and also everyone except external users. It means that all the organization users except unique users. I'm not sure that if this site is connected to a team. If it's connected to a team, then everyone will not work here. I'm adding this group here. So by adding this group, it will give unique permissions to all the users on this site, but they cannot modify any of the content here. Now let's go back to the site. So far, what we have learned about the basic concept and terminologies like groups, users, and roles and different permissions perspective. Now, if I go back to the site content here, instead of going to site permissions, I'm going to the site content. Now we are going to discuss about permissions in a document library here. If I click on this one, I can go to the site settings, library settings here. This could be for any list and library. Here you can see permissions for this document library. Now we are going to check the permissions at a document library level. What happens when you create a site? Everything on the site uh, inherit permissions from the top, from the parent. It's showing that manage parent permission. If I click on this one, it will take me to the previous permission level at the site level. I'm clicking on the back button. Or if I want this document library have unique permissions, I will stop permissions here. And now I can modify the permissions based on my requirements. For example, I don't want any user on this site who have contribute permissions but can delete the files except site owners. So I'm good, and I do not want to have any user with read-only access on this site, this document library. I can click on this one, and I have removed it. Okay. Or if I want to need those group again, I can either grant permissions. Here you can also add users directly to the site, and it giving you the option to share everything in the folder, and also if there are nested folders with unique permissions. And what would be the role? You can see over custom role also showing up here. I have given an explicit user permissions to a user here on this library. It not showing up here. I just need to refresh the page. because this is a classic interface. It do not refresh automatically. And if I click on this button, like if I click on this, delete unique permissions, what it will do, it will delete all the unique permissions and start inheriting from the same feature. Now it also showing me an option here that there could be limited access users. This is another group. If I click on this one, it's showing me limited access for Alex here. What happens here? This user might not have permissions on the site, but giving permissions on this document library. So what happens that there are few pages which are required to view. There are everything on this site which you are seeing here. There are CSS files. There are backend with a couple of JavaScript files where user need permissions to view content or documents on the site. So by default, there is a group name as limited access users. A user automatically added to that group on the site so that have minimum permissions to view any content shared with the user. User will can only view the files which he is assigned, but for this interface, accessing this interface, those permissions are also required. So I'm going back to the document library here. Let me go click here and go to settings. Now I'm out of the document settings here. I'm now on the document library. I can also have a folder here, important folder. These are good additions here. You can colorize your folder structure also. And I want to, for example, couple of have unique permissions on this folder, specifically this folder. So I will click on three dots. I will click on manage access, and you will see that who is the folder owner here. This thing that's showing up here, and who have permissions on this folder. But I also want to give permissions to one more user here. I can click on start sharing with the user directly, or if I click on three dots here, or I can add the user here, grant access to any of the username. I can modify the permissions, can edit, can view, can't download. Are you getting these things? And from here, I will go to the advanced settings. Now you will see the similar interface showing up earlier, but this is not for the site, not for the document library, but for that specific folder. And what you need to do, you need to stop the inheritance. And if I stop the inheritance here, I'm removing these two groups here. Sorry. And only have this happen, these two group have permission on this folder. Now, if I go back to the important folder here, and let's verify. I will click on manage access. Only two group. It's showing that who have the permission on this one, and I can also assign permissions to the users here. Or there's one more option like copy link. When I click on the copy link, it will create the link of the document. These are important, and same scenario will go for the files here and here. The default setting was set up people in MSFT. This is MSFT is the this organization, or I want to set up this one only share like I'm sharing the folder with some user. I can select this permission level only those users who have already have access on this folder, or people I choose. Here I can name any of the users, and what permission role by default it is set up to edit. I can change it to view, or I can keep or like I can set it to can edit, or and also set up a permission expiry date. Now let's check again. Access group permission to these two and group links. these two links are generated because I have created the option generate link. So that's why it's showing up here. And now if I go to the share also has the same screen which I have shown you earlier. You can add the username here and you can set up the permission level. You can send a message to the user and all these permissions users will have the permissions on this folder. And like I've shown you this screen earlier, how the sharing is working on the documents. So this is how SharePoint permissions are managed. So what we have learned today, we have went through the understanding on the SharePoint site permissions, how it is managed, how to go to the site permissions page. Then we look to the security groups and how to create a new security group. We also taking a look on different user roles and permissions and how to create a custom permission role and assigning that to a newly created security group. Then we'll look to the setting up unique permissions for a document library and removing unique permissions, adding users to the unique permission role. And after that, we have been through on sharing files, folders, setting up permissions on the links, and also how to create unique permissions on those files and folders. Reach out to me if you have any other queries on comment me if you have any further queries on understanding SharePoint file permissions.